Have you ever held the evidence in your hands and felt your entire world fracture in a single heartbeat? I ask myself as I stare at the glossy photograph lying before me on our bedroom floor. It's a picture of my husband, Adam, smiling behind the wheel of a motorbike he's never mentioned, helmet off, wind tousling his hair, riding through a desert landscape I've never seen him share any photos of. My hands tremble so badly I nearly drop it. The truth is I found an entire gallery of these photos and more bank statements for a city I don't recognize, a burner phone hidden in the back of his sock drawer, and text logs full of coded whispers with someone named Sphinx. And when I confronted him, he looked me in the eye and called me crazy. But I have proof. It all started 3 weeks ago, on a Saturday morning when I stumbled upon an unfamiliar luggage label in his suitcase. Amara Expeditions, Dubai. I'd been packing his gym bag for him again, because knee surgery has slowed me down, and he likes things done just so. I paused at the grainy sticker, puzzled. "When did you go to Dubai?" I asked, voice casual. He froze midway, rolling up a t-shirt. His face shifted, first confusion, then irritation. "What are you talking about?" His tone was clipped. "I've never been to Dubai." I slipped the sticker into my palm and held it out. His eyes darted, just for a flicker, before he snatched the bag and stalked out of the room. My pulse flared. Something's not right, I thought. And it wasn't the first oddity. A week earlier, I'd noticed a second phone on his nightstand. Black, no wallpaper, no notifications, just a plain slab with a single call log entry that vanished whenever he swiped down. When I asked, he laughed. "That's my work burner. You wouldn't understand." But I did. Burners don't belong in marriages, where couples share calendars and passwords. Then, late last week, I found a stack of receipts in the trash. A $1,200 hotel charge-in Marrakesh, an $800 spa treatment in Istanbul, destinations we'd always dreamed of visiting together. My mind reeled. Why keep these secrets? Who was he trying to fool? And why would he brush me off as paranoid when I asked? By last night, I had enough breadcrumbs to follow. I stayed up until 3 a.m., scouring his email. By the web client we share, piecing together clues. I discovered confirmation emails. Your Desert Dunes Tour, Amara Expeditions, March 5th to 8th. VIP spa booking, Lawless Spa, Istanbul. March 12th. I saved PDFs, printed them, highlighted dates, times, locations. And then I found it. A single correspondence buried deep in his archived messages, an email to sphinx.secret@gmail.com reading, "It's been too long, my desert queen. See you in 48 hours. My breath caught. Desert queen. Sphinx. Egypt. Morocco. This secret life sprawled across 3 continents, and I've been left entirely in the dark. I closed the laptop and stared at our wedding photo on the wall, us on the beach at sunset, my head on his chest. I remembered how he whispered, "I'll always tell you everything." That vow now felt like a lie. This morning, I laid out the evidence on the bed, printed email confirmations, hotel receipts, the puzzling luggage sticker, and those first secret photos I extracted from his phone's backup. Each piece was labeled in a neat stack. Secret trip number 1, Marrakesh. Secret trip number 2, Istanbul. Secret trip number 3, Dubai, and to Sphinx. My hands stung from scanning so many documents, but I refused to let go until I faced him. He walked in around noon, shirtless and yawning, totally at ease, as if our marriage had continued unscarred. He noticed the piles. His jaw tightened. "What's all this?" he asked, voice calm but his eyes sharp. I sat up, aligning the printouts. "This," I said, tapping the Marrakesh confirmation. "This is you in Morocco back in March. You told me you had work conferences, but there was no oncology conference in Marrakesh, only your desert tour." He ran a hand through his hair. "That was a team retreat," he said. "My company organized it." I shook my head. "My email doesn't show any company invitation. Just Amara Expeditions. And if you were on a company retreat, why the boutique hotel receipts and spa invoices?" His face flushed. I don't know." I moved to the next stack. "And here, April 2nd to 4th, your so-called emergency business trip to Istanbul. Yet my boss confirmed no clients needed you there. And that spa receipt for 2 massages, one for you, one for someone else." He swallowed. "My friend Rachel was in town." I felt bile rise. "You don't have a friend, Rachel. And her name isn't on the receipt. It's Sphinx." I held up the phone keypad text I'd printed. "Come at sunset. Wear white. Sunsets in the desert and white robes." The images in my mind were too vivid. He stood, clenching his fists. "Fine," he spat. "You found it, but you're overreacting. It's not what you think." I leaned forward. "Convince me. Show me it was business. Show me that Sphinx is in your code. Name for some woman you call your desert queen." His eyes flicked to the window, as if finding a way to escape. He exhaled. "I can't prove it," he said quietly. Because it's true." My breath froze. "True." He looked at me, shame and longing mixed in his gaze. "I do have another life, and a woman I care for deeply. I thought it would end with trips, but it didn't. And now I don't know how to stop." My chest tightened as if someone pressed on my ribs. The man I married was confessing gross betrayal, emotional, perhaps physical. Our years together now filtered through the lens of his duplicity. I pressed the printouts forward. "I have proof." He closed his eyes. "I know." My vision blurred with tears, but I held firm. "What now, Greg?" He looked at each stack line between us. "I'm leaving," he whispered. "I'm moving to Dubai next month. My job has a new branch there. And she's there. I'll be with her." The words landed like a guillotine's blade. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. "You're leaving me for her." I choked. He nodded. "I'm sorry. I never planned it this way." I sank onto the bed, the evidence scattered around me like shards of glass. My heart felt hollow and immense at once. "Then leave," I whispered. "Just don't pretend you love me anymore." He turned away. "I never stopped loving you." I closed my eyes, every betrayal collapsing into a single cry of pain that I swallowed. When I opened them, he was gone, the door clicking close behind him. I lay there, surrounded by proof of a secret life I never knew, a story that had shattered our vows. The future loomed vast and empty, yet somewhere beneath the wreckage, a flicker of resolve sparked. I had proof, and now I had choices. I could fight for our marriage, if he was willing, or I could reclaim my life, piece by piece, away from his deceit. In the quiet aftermath, I whispered into the silence, "This is only the beginning." And in that moment, I decided I would write the next chapter, not as his wife betrayed, but as a woman who refused to be erased. I didn't sleep that night or the next night. My world had split in two before I knew the truth, and after, in the gray dawn, I packed a bag heavy with more than just toothbrush and pajamas. I tucked the printed evidence into a folder, slipped my wedding ring into its velvet box, and left a note on the pillow. I need space. Don't follow me. Then I drove straight to my sister's house, heart pounding with the sting of betrayal and the buzz of adrenaline. By mid-morning, I'd enlisted Lena's help to sort through the wreckage. Over coffee in her sunny kitchen, I laid out every snippet: desert photos, burner phone logs, coded texts, hotel receipts, and that final, crushing confession. Lena's face paled. She reached for my hand. "You deserve so much better," she whispered. "Let's figure out your next move." I exhaled, the first measure of control since everything fell apart. "I need legal advice and therapy." Lena nodded. "I'll drive you." The law office smelled of polished wood and fresh ink. Attorney Turner greeted me with a sympathetic smile, her gray-streaked hair pulled back in a no-nonsense bun. I handed over the sealed folder. She read in silence, then looked up. "This is comprehensive," she said. "You have clear proof of infidelity and dissipation of marital assets, hotel charges you paid for, conference fees, and even the burner phone purchase. We can use this to negotiate a favorable settlement, or, if it comes to it, push for full asset disclosure and alimony." I nodded, relief and fear mingling. "But I'm not sure I want divorce yet." She leaned forward. "You have options. A legal separation agreement to protect you, setting terms for finances, custody of your dog, but also room to reconcile if you choose." I took a deep breath. "I need that separation agreement, and I need time to think." She scribbled phone numbers for a marriage counselor and for her colleague who specializes in marital misconduct cases. I left with a folder of paperwork and an appointment next week to draft the separation. At therapy the next day, Dr. Patel's office was calm, the air scented with eucalyptus. I sat on the plush couch, absorbing the lesson plan she laid out. Phase 1, processing betrayal. Phase 2, establishing boundaries. Phase 3, deciding the future. My phone buzzed with a text. From David. "I'm sorry. Call me." I ignored it, throat tight. "I'll stay here until you've decided," Dr. Patel said gently. I exhaled, the knot loosening. "I need help untangling my anger and grief," I whispered. Over the hour, I spoke of that flash of Lila's cool smile when she straightened her skirt in my bedroom, of the way David's eyes pleaded, yet he still planned to walk away. Dr. Patel handed me a grief journal. "Write down every memory, every question. You'll need clarity." I left with pages for my fury and sorrow, and a resolve to reclaim my narrative. Back at Lena's, I sat at the dining table with my laptop open to a travel site. I'd bunkered in the guest room but needed a break, a solo getaway. Maybe a week in Sedona, away from the Desert Queen's uncanny echo. I clicked book, and the first hint of excitement flickered, small, fierce in mine. Then Lena called. "Your first appointment with Turner is Wednesday, and Dr. Patel's intro to trauma group starts tomorrow evening." She added in a softer tone, "And I arranged for you to meet with a financial planner friend of mine. She can help you sort assets ahead of separation." My chest swelled with gratitude. My crisis had sparked a support network I'd never realized was there. Friends, family, professionals. I texted David one line. "I've begun legal and therapeutic steps. Let me know if you choose reconciliation. Otherwise, consider this the separation notice." And then, for the first time in weeks, I breathed. The next week unfolded in a blur of paperwork and self-care. I met with the financial planner, Rosa, who helped me open a solo bank account, transfer emergency savings, and project living. Costs post-separation. She sketched out a budget: rent for a one-bedroom condo, dog walker. Fees, health insurance. She smiled warmly. This is your independence fund. Treat it like your lifeline. I nodded, feeling the spark of possibility. That evening, I arrived at the trauma group. 6 women around a circle of chairs, each clutching a journal. We shared our stories: betrayal spouses, hidden affairs, embezzlement partners. Their voices trembled and then firmed, each word forging community from trauma. One woman said, "We're reclaiming our power." Another smiled through tears. "I'm rebuilding me." There. Strength ignited mine. Midway through the healing process, I realized I hadn't seen David in days. His texts were sparse, apologetic. "Thinking of you. I miss you. I'll respect whatever you choose." But no phrase sparked hope. Instead, I drafted a precise plan. If he truly wanted to reconcile, he would attend counseling, sign the separation agreement as a protective measure, and agree to no further contact with Lila. I emailed him the terms. He replied within hours, "I accept your terms. I will meet you Thursday at Dr. Patel's office." The word "accept" felt like a small olive branch, tentative but real. Thursday afternoon, I sat in Dr. Patel's sunlit waiting room, nerves fluttering. David arrived, looking pale but determined. He handed me a sealed envelope, the separation agreement draft, with his signature and a note. "I sign for your protection, not futility. I want us to explore what comes next." I felt tears sting. He had honored my boundary. We joined Dr. Patel in her office and signed the agreement on camera, a mutual testament that our safety and autonomy mattered above all. Then we sank into chairs and, for the first time since the affair, looked at each other without the weight of secrets. In that gaze, I sensed the glimmer of possibility, healing, or at least honest closure. That evening, David and I walked in the park where we first met. Cherry blossoms bloomed, the air soft with fragrance, a reminder that appended lives could still bloom again. We paused by the lake's edge. He took my hand. "Thank you for giving me this chance," he said, voice raw. "I know I shattered your world." I looked at the petals drifting in the breeze. "You did, but I also found my strength." I turned to him. "We can't pretend nothing happened. We have to build something new on honesty, respect, and my autonomy." He nodded. "I understand." He engulfed me in a hug. "No more secrets." I breathed him in, bittersweet, the same scent of aftershave and regret, but also hope. Weeks later, life steadied around new rhythms. I moved into my condo, furnished, cozy, entirely mine, watching transition from widowhood to single strength. I counseled trainee nurses. Part-time at a local clinic, my career reignited by the teaching I'd once taken for granted. I journaled daily, pouring out old pain and noting new joys. David and I met weekly for divorce counseling check-ins. Sometimes we lunched and reviewed financial updates. Sometimes we just talked about our son's school recital or exchanged book recommendations. There was gentleness in our interactions, respect born from the ashes of betrayal. And one crisp autumn night, as I curled up by my living room window, a text pinged. I finished your favorite novel. Ready to discuss. It was David. My heart fluttered. I typed back, "Let's over coffee." He replied, "Tomorrow. My place." I set down my phone, breath steady. Tomorrow, I would walk into his home, no secrets, only conversation, embracing whatever came next, reconciliation, friendship, or a graceful goodbye. Because I knew now that strength wasn't hiding from betrayal, but choosing to face it head-on. Forging a future built on one non-negotiable truth. I am worthy of honesty, and I refuse to settle for anything less. And that choice, bold, unflinching, fiercely mine, was the beginning of a life reborn from truth. It's been 6 months since I walked out of our home, evidence folder in hand and my heart in a 1,000 pieces. Since then, life has moved forward, unevenly, painfully, but always forward. Today, I sit across from David in the cafe where we began our divorce counseling check-ins. We each cradle a mug of peppermint tea, steam curling between us like the last tendrils of a wound. Healing. Where did we leave off? David asks, voice soft. He tucks a loose strand of hair behind his ear. The same gesture he used when he was shy about confessing his first crush on me. I open my notebook, our separation journal, to the final entry. Emotions, calm curiosity, goals, finalizing custody and assets, exploring post-divorce friendship. It's both clinical and hopeful. I take a breath. We agreed to finalize the asset division today, I say. Then talk about whether we can transition from divorced spouses to friends. He nods, I steady. I've transferred the agreed funds to your account, he says, producing his phone. A few taps, and a notification appears on my screen. $75,000 received. The amount we calculated for my share, ensuring I can keep the condo and move forward without financial fear. My chest loosens. Thank you, I whisper. He offers a small smile. Always want to protect you. I hesitate, then say, we should finalize child custody. I'll have primary custody of Noah with you on alternating weekends and holidays, and joint decisions on schooling and healthcare. He nods, relief flooding his face. That works. I want to be there for him. I close my notebook. Everything's in the draft agreement. I'll send it to Rachel for her to draw the final documents. He reaches across and gently squeezes my hand. Thank you, Sarah, for being thorough for protecting him and us. I inhale, then let the air out with a laugh. I learn from the best. He chuckles, the warmth between us fragile but genuine. Next step. I glance at my watch. We have 10 minutes before my shift starts. I gather my things. I'd like us to plan our post-divorce friendship date, coffee and puppy playtime. Noah wants to see Dad. At the animal shelter. He grins. He'll love that. We stand, and I feel the gravity of what we're doing, closing the chapter on a marriage that began with love and ended with betrayal, but planting a seed for a new relationship, one of co-parenting and cautious friendship. As we step outside into the crisp autumn air, I slip my arm through his. The gesture feels right. No more secrets, just shared responsibility and tentative respect. That weekend at the animal shelter, Noah squeals as he pets a flop-eared puppy. David crouches beside him, laughing as the puppy tries to lick Noah's nose. I stand nearby, camera in hand, capturing the moment. My son's joy, his father's delight, the warm glow of a new beginning. After we choose a puppy, Rascal, brown with white paws, we walk home together, the puppy wiggling in David's arms. I carry Noah on my hip, his laughter echoing against the sidewalk. We stop at the park, lay out a blanket, and share sandwiches. David tells Noah stories of the puppy's wild adventures, and I watch my son's eyes sparkle. I realize that despite everything, this is still family, imperfect, but steadfast in love for our child. In the months that follow, our routine settles into a comforting rhythm. Every Thursday evening, David picks up Noah for dinner and a museum visit. I get weekly updates, photos of dinosaur skeletons and big brontosaurus smiles. We use our State of our Union check-ins to talk about co-parenting challenges, scheduling conflicts, school permission slips, and bedtime routines. We keep it brief, respectful, and focused on Noah's needs. On my side, my therapy continues, monthly now, focusing on personal growth. I've joined a book club, taken up pottery classes, and reconnected with friends I drifted from. Each activity reminds me of who I was before the affair and who I can become now. Resilient, curious, and whole. David's life also stabilizes. He steps into a leadership role at his firm, no longer riding the thrill of secret getaways. He channels his energy into mentoring younger colleagues and volunteering. At the local youth center with Noah, at our yearly community gala, we even share a dance, purely platonic, a nod to the respect forged from the wreckage. One evening, nearly a year after that first discovery, I opened my front door to find David waiting. With 2 cups of hot cocoa and a small bouquet of daffodils, Narcissus, he jokes, referencing my birth flower. I invite him inside. We sit on the couch, the puppy curled in my lap, Noah tucked under a blanket playing his video game. I just wanted to say thanks, he says, handing me a mug, for giving all of us a chance to find new happiness. I smile warmly. We did it together. I learned trust can be rebuilt, but it's more than that. It can transform. He nods. And I've learned what truly matters. No more secrets, just shared moments. He lifts Rascal's paw. Even with you so far, this little guy reminds me of how precious our family still is. I lean against him, the puppy's soft fur under my fingers. I'm glad we could become something new. We sip our cocoa in comfortable silence, the soft hum of home around us. Rascal barks at the door, and Noah bounds down the hallway, hungry for sandwiches and stories of the days. Schoolyard adventure. As the 3 generations, my son, my ex, and me, settle into the living room, I know that though our marriage ended, our connection endures, shaped by honesty, respect, and the shared joy of parenting. In the hush that follows, I realize the most remarkable part of this journey, betrayal's echo can fade, replaced by the music of a love redefined. And as I look at David's profile in that golden lamplight, I know that sometimes endings write the most hopeful new beginnings.